Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel today. We're diving into a shocking and unprecedented development that has sent shockwaves across the world. Russia's capital Moscow plunged into darkness after a massive Ukrainian drone assault targeted critical power infrastructure, leaving millions without electricity and exposing vulnerabilities in one of the most heavily defended cities on Earth. This isn't just another battlefield update. This is a direct strike at the heart of Russian power. And it raises urgent questions about the future of the war and the balance of power in the region. For the first time since the start of the conflict, the lights in Moscow went out. Entire districts were left without electricity. Street lights failed. Traffic signals stopped working and panic began to spread across the capital. Social media lit up with videos of dark streets, confused citizens, and the distant sound of drones flying overhead. It was chaos, unlike anything the city had seen in modern history, and it proved one thing: Ukraine's drone warfare has reached a new level of sophistication. These weren't small, short-range drones. These were long-range, precision-guided UAVs capable of traveling hundreds of kilometers undetected before. Hitting high-value targets, Ukrainian intelligence had gathered detailed maps of the Russian power grid, identifying the most critical substations and transmission hubs. The goal wasn't to destroy Moscow completely, but to cripple key sectors of the city and demonstrate that no place in Russia is safe from retaliation. The strike was carefully timed late at night when detection and interception are most difficult. Russian air defenses tried to respond, but even advanced S-400 systems struggled to track the swarm-like drone formations. By the time they reacted, it was too late. Multiple energy facilities were struck simultaneously, causing a cascading power failure that spread across the city. This attack is a game changer. Why? Because Moscow is supposed to be untouchable. The Kremlin spends billions every year on border defense radar systems and anti-aircraft missiles, but Ukraine just proved that modern warfare isn't about size, it's about adaptability, agility, and technology. Ukraine has mastered the art of low-cost, high-impact warfare. Their drones cost thousands, while Russia's defense systems cost millions, and every time Russia shoots down a cheap drone, they lose money and resources. Ukraine understands this perfectly. They're turning the economic advantage against Moscow. The psychological impact may be even greater than the physical one. Imagine living in the capital of a nuclear superpower, believing you're fully protected, and then suddenly the lights go out. Alarms blare, drones buzz overhead, and emergency vehicles race through the streets. Panic begins to grow. Fear spreads faster than the blackout itself, and the population starts asking uncomfortable questions. How did this happen? Where is the government? Why couldn't our military stop it? This attack damaged more than power stations. It damaged trust in the system. Inside the Kremlin, there is chaos. Officials are scrambling to restore order while trying to downplay the severity of the attack state. Media is calling it a temporary technical issue, but the people aren't buying it. Putin is furious, demanding answers from his generals, but deep down he knows this is the result of Ukraine's evolving strategy. They are no longer fighting for survival. They are taking the war deep into Russian territory, and they're doing it with precision and intelligence. Let's talk strategy. Because this wasn't a random strike, Ukraine is targeting infrastructure to force a cost on Russia. The same way Russia has tried to freeze Ukraine during winter. Ukraine is showing it can play the same game. Modern wars aren't just fought with guns and tanks. They're fought with electricity, fuel, data, and communication. Cut those, and even the strongest. Military collapses. This blackout didn't just stop lights. It disrupted banking systems, metro lines, airport operations, and government communications. This is what experts call hybrid warfare, combining military strikes with cyber attacks and psychological pressure. Now here's the critical point. Ukraine didn't use Western-supplied drones. These were domestically built long-range UAVs capable of traveling 800 to 1, or kilometers. This means Ukraine has developed its own strategic weapon capability without relying on NATO. This is a major shift. it also sends a clear message to Russian commanders. Your distance no longer protects you. Your borders no longer guarantee safety. Ukraine can reach you anytime, anywhere. Russia tried to respond quickly, deploying emergency crews, bringing in generators and activating backup power stations. But the damage was already done. Some districts were without power for more than 12 hours, and the grid is still unstable. Experts warn that if Ukraine repeats this strategy multiple times, the entire capital's energy system could collapse for days or even weeks. This would cripple Russia's economy and shake the government's control over the country. Let's talk about the military implications. This attack exposes a huge weakness in Russia's defense structure. Their systems were designed to stop fighter jets and missiles, not swarms of small autonomous drones. The future battlefield belongs to whoever can use technology more efficiently, and Ukraine is proving they're ahead of the curve. They've shown the world that innovation can beat tradition and agility can defeat brute force. This isn't just a tactical win, it's a symbolic victory that could change international support. Dynamics countries watching this are realizing Ukraine has the capability to hit strategic targets deep inside Russia without direct NATO involvement. Meanwhile, Russia is now in a difficult position. If they don't respond strongly, they look weak. If they respond too aggressively, they risk escalation and more international isolation. Some analysts believe Putin may try to strike Ukrainian infrastructure again. But Ukraine has improved its air defenses dramatically with Western support, so any retaliation might not have the same effect as before. And if the war becomes a battle of infrastructure, Ukraine may have the advantage because Russia's power grid is older and more fragile. Many parts of it are Soviet-era systems that were never upgraded, making them perfect targets. There's also political fallout inside Russia. Opposition voices are already criticizing the government for focusing too much on the front lines and not enough on home defense. Social media platforms inside the country are full of frustrated citizens demanding explanations and transparency. But the Kremlin's instinct is always the same: suppress information, control the narrative, and blame the West. But this time it won't be easy. People experienced the blackout firsthand. No propaganda can erase what they saw with their own eyes. So what happens next? Experts believe Ukraine will continue hitting strategic assets inside Russia, especially fuel depots, rail hubs, and energy facilities. They won't strike civilians directly, but they will disrupt the system that powers the Russian war machine. This forces Russia to divert resources from the front lines, to protect their own territory, stretching their military thin and exposing weaknesses even further. This could be the beginning of a new phase of the war, where battles are fought not just in trenches, but across entire nations' infrastructure, networks. The blackout in Moscow wasn't just a warning. It was a statement of power. It showed that Ukraine is no longer just defending itself. It's taking control of the battlefield on land, in the air, and in cyberspace. It showed that even the most powerful countries are vulnerable in the age of drones and digital warfare, and it proved that innovation, determination, and strategy can overcome size and intimidation. In the coming weeks, we could see more daring strikes deeper into Russia, more pressure on the Kremlin, and possibly a shift in how the world views this conflict. If Ukraine continues to successfully target critical infrastructure, Russia's leadership will face increasing internal pressure, and the war could reach a breaking point. Ukraine has changed the rules of the game, and Moscow is now playing defense. This is not just about power grids. This is about power itself. Who controls the skies? Who controls technology? Who controls the narrative? And maybe one day, who controls the future of this region? Russia has been thrown into darkness, not just literally, but symbolically. And Ukraine has sent a message loud and clear. The war is coming home. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because this story is far from over and the next chapter could change everything.